road, you're busy.
Well, we're on the road a lot. Unlike Hunter Biden, we were actually international business people before my father took office. And when he did, we said we're not doing new deals going forward. So they gave me a little extra free time.
Well, I just happen to know that's true because I've known you for many years, long before your dad ever got into politics. Yeah. And I'd go and you were actually working in a real office.
It's what I did.
And you didn't get paid money unless you made money.
It's hard to believe.
And you didn't get to use the company jet, did you?
No.
No. All right, let me ask you. So you mentioned quid pro quo, Joe, zero experience, Hunter. Okay, white people, police stop white people too much, minorities too little. Let's target minority kids. Cops must throw them up against the wall. Let's look at, murders, murder victims, murderers. The MO, you just take a description, you Xerox it, you pass it out to all the cops. They're all male minorities. Wow. And then he goes on to say, because they're arresting only all minority kids for marijuana. Well, I think kids of other races use marijuana, and all the cops in minority neighborhoods, because that's where all the crime is, all of it.
Listen, the Bloomberg comments were terrible. And we're not even talking about the policy, just the way he spoke about those kids, those people. It was like they were subhuman to him. Again, you can argue about policy, but that was disgusting. And so,
right.
Now, again, billions in ad spending. You saw Katie Hill come out today. Well, Mike Bloomberg gave me $5 million. It allowed me to win my campaign. She was then, left Congress in disgrace. He's been buying his way through all of these things. The one thing that Mike Bloomberg can't buy is personality. He can't buy heart. He can't buy that connection with real people that Donald Trump has. I mean, Donald Trump was, again, I get it. I understand the irony that the, brash sort of billionaire from New York City could actually relate to real people, blue-collar Americans all over the world. He's fought for them. They see him. They see the results. Mike Bloomberg will never have that direct connection with those people because he doesn't like those people.
Apparently.
And I don't
because
just
you're
mean
right. It's not about stop and frisk.
It's basically everyone.
Of course, you want to go into areas with a higher concentration of crime or drugs or whatever, violence, whatever it happens to be. But, this is the ultimate in racial profiling. And these comments are, number one, false. Number two, targeting and profiling in a way that I never would have imagined.
Well, it seems very sort of, violating of just our basic rights. But again, it's not about the policy. Just listen to the way he said it. It was the way he didn't think of these people as even human. They were not equal to him and his, peers. And that's the difference between him and Donald Trump. Donald Trump understands real people. He understands their problems, their issues, and that's why he's been fighting for them and getting it done.
Do you see this as a Bernie Sanders to lose?
Well, I mean, listen, I see the DNC doing whatever they can to screw Bernie Sanders, okay? And that's the reality. But the last time the DNC rigged a primary, it worked out great for us. So I'm going to trust their terrible judgment and let them run with it. Because the reality is this, the one thing I'd say about Bernie, he's got real people. I mean, he has a movement. I don't agree with any of the policies. I think they're dangerous. I think they're insane. I wrote about it in my book. I mean, my mother escaped a communist country. I grew up. I spoke the language. I have friends from communist Czechoslovakia. I waited in those, bread lines. I can assure you they are not as glamorous as Bernie and, academia today make them out to be. That's why there's no advocates for socialism or communism who actually grew up in those places, who actually lived there. They all come here. The boats only go one way, Sean. But, the DNC will do whatever they can to try to mold that perfect candidate. But the reality is the DNC is not in touch with actual real America. I mean, I did 20 stops with Kimberly yesterday in New Hampshire. And it wasn't just the places where we're going to visit our pollsters. It was the coffee shop along the way.
You're getting lazy.
I know. I'm getting a little slow. Listen,
a little slow in your own
no one's ever called me low energy. That's the one thing I've never been accused of. So
I believe that.
But we're out there, and it wasn't just our stops. It was, the coffee shop along the way, and then someone sees you pull in, and 3 businesses next door. Hey, young, female entrepreneur, 23 years old, opened up her first shop. They're coming out and saying, hey, thank you. Like, I'm only able to do this because of your father's policies. And these, again, this isn't the cookie cutter that the media and the Democrats want to say, well, that's the only person believing in Trump's policies. I mean, it was everything but. Half the time I'm wondering myself, because that sort of stereotype does leave an impression on you, even me. And I'm saying, I'm not sure where this is going. And then they start talking. I mean, grown men with tears in their eyes because they're living their American dream. It just makes